Ladies and gentlemen, Eddie Marcus here again. I was just doing this video for you, and I hadn't put my disc in, and so I had a few minutes on the camera. Time ran out. In the middle of it, it was really going good and smooth. So I'm going to just post it for those of you who might benefit from the intro. But from here, I'm going to go on. Here we're talking about Easter again. And for me to be claiming before the world to be God's son, to know God, to know that God is real to the extent that I could stand before the American public, stand before the people of the world, and say that God exists, and say that all of the benefits that we would dream that we could have as individuals has already been given to us. They have already been prepared. They are in the places where they should be if we want them to manifest. That is where the problem comes in. We the people having choice and having the same right to have our dreams come true. And yet we can make a choice that goes against someone else and goes against someone else. And we find ourselves at a crossroad. That's the big thing. We find ourselves at a crossroad. So what do? Do we at this crossroad, because we have been professing and proclaiming to know a God that's all of this and all of that, when we get to that crossroad and we have to stand up for that God that can do all of this, all of that, or turn and go the way of the world, a God who says you got to hustle, you got to pick yourself up by your bootstraps, you got to lie, cheat, steal, and don't get caught, anything it takes, or be in a secret society to make it and survive. Is that what the one who has been professing God all the time is going to do? Well, the truth of the matter is when I look at the world around me, I see believers everywhere. And today they're in church celebrating Jesus' resurrection. What does Jesus' resurrection mean? To them, it means that if they don't rock the boat in this devil's world, that Jesus is going to descend from heaven one day. People back in those days thought it was going to be a month or so. And so it's thousands of years according to the story. And it hasn't happened. But we are believing that it will happen. And so what we say we believe in, the word, which says greater is he that is in us than the world, but it's not. Because we allow at that crossroad to ourselves to give in and go the way of the world. People, not just in America, people all over the world are suffering. And I want you to know, ladies and gentlemen, that every government on the face of the earth is established by the people. Sure, sometimes you've been beaten down with guns and you just threw up your hands like the Indians said, like the slaves said, and say, we give in, we'll follow, and hope that in a couple of thousand years you might walk yourself out of this cracked mire. Ladies and gentlemen, look, this is the way that believers go. But those who know God, those soldiers on the battlefield who had bullets flying all over their heads while their buddies and comrades were falling all around them, should know God. They weren't lucky. They were blessed. They were blessed to overcome something that so many of them could not overcome. Something that could separate them from the ability of mankind. These guys laying on this ground dead, they are a reflection of the decisions of the people of the land. You see, we can't just blame this on politicians because politicians represent us. We can't even blame this on a dictator because that dictator represents us. We can overturn any dictator. We can overturn any president, any king, any queen, any pharaoh, any dynasty. We the people. We are the lifeblood of civilization. Not our governments, but we've been trained to think that government is. But God will let you know just what those who represent him tell you. Now, you see guys out here trying to make people wake up. Wake up to the awareness that the suffering of the world is because of you. The people They are suffering because of you, not the American government, not the capitalist system, even though they are no good. But they are no good because you have been programmed to be no good. I mean, you think you're good, but you are being programmed to be no good. Let me show you something. Come here, baby. Come here. Come here. You see this? This is what you call good. Now, do you have to be reduced to a puppy? Do you have to be reduced to some form of animal, something perhaps that you detest, to grow up? I'm telling you, it might not be such a bad thing, because guys like this and young ladies like this, they have heaven right here on earth in the skin of a puppy. So if they can have so much fun, if they can be so happy, why can't we? Why won't we? Well, I can tell you this. The crossroads are there to separate those who really know God from those who believe God. Those who know God got a place to go, and those who believe in God got a lot of growing to do. Until next time, this is Eddie Marker saying, Easter is not for me and for God over there in those walls celebrating something that you don't even know. If you knew, you wouldn't be over there. Not trying to hurt your feelings. I just want to tell you like it is. So, for the puppy's sake, bye-bye.